Oh. Hey, check that out.
Hey Meta, play something chill. What's up?
Bit of silicon.
You said something?
I didn't notice that until I turned the camera on. Beats on in the background. Courtesy of No Copyright Sounds on the YouTube. Do we? It's about being authentic, isn't it? It's just that's gonna be funny, but is what it is, right? Maybe I'll get comments. It's like, oh my god, I couldn't watch you. That I just kept looking at that white thing on your face. It's silicon, right? So I don't know how loud this is coming through. Just drop it down. Right. So good buddy of mine been giving me some feedback on the videos, so I appreciate you, man. Absolutely appreciate it. Right. I've taken the cover off the phone. Now this may or may not improve the audio. It's definitely, I can see that it's definitely improved the camera. Right. It's one of those tradie covers. And I can vouch for it having a decent level of water resistance or waterproofing. Now how? I mean, you can guess, but let's cut to the chase. I fell in the water. Well, I got knocked off my kayak a while back coming back from Whistling Duck in some crazy weather, and it was a bit of a risk the biscuit situation. There's just no way I was able to stay out on the duck. I mean, I could have. I could have, but I was like, it was just hairy. So I was like, man, I got to paddle back in. I guess I'd had enough of sailing for the day, enough of being out on Ducky Boy, and I just wanted to get back to the Grow, and back to land and get in dry clothes and so on and so forth. So I was paddling back in on the kayak, and I this way actually, I turned this way, and I could see like a line of white, and I was like, man, this is a freaking wave. And it was probably my own fault. It's like, oh, don't get knocked. That's what happened. I got dragged sideways, and then when I come off the back end of the wave, because I went, did that, and I went in, and yes, I did panic a little bit. I'll be honest with you. It's like, shit, because it's night. It's down here in Tassie, and the water was cold, and I was fully clothed, boots on. And I was probably fortunate that I was fully clothed, meaning I had a shirt, I had my work shirt on, I had a woolen jumper on, and then I had a spray jacket over the top of that. And this phone that was in the cover was in the jacket with the zipper up. And so I was probably fortunate that I actually had that wool jumper on, because I didn't get as wet as I thought. Like, my boots were wet, my pants were wet, I was cold, but my upper body, and then that's how cold it gets down here. That coldness sat in my body for at least 2 days. It's like I was just cold for 2 days. So anyway, that's that little story, right? I'm going to have a crack. Tonight's nighttime craft on Sitting Pelican is learning hand sewing. I've got my good old trusty wool beanie. It was one of the first investments when I got down here is wool, and you know, thumbs up to scrolling again. There's another tip I learnt scrolling. But remember, anyone watching my videos, like I've made the decision to curate. Like actually begin to put in the effort to curate the content that's being shown to me. And I might spend one night just scrolling, going not interested, delete, do not recommend, hide, block, report. You know, I'm just like, no, I'm not interested in this crap. Now, that's the other thing. It's a bit like, yeah, if you're gonna do something, might as well get the most out of it, type deal. Okay, and so when I saw this little clip, and they did it's quite a simple stitch, and it's called a hidden stitch, and what we're going to attempt to do this nighttime craft is apply this stitch to this hole in the beanie. You folks see that? And I've got a feeling, right, that this is an amber from when I outdoor fires. So it's not too bad. And this is great. This was expensive, to be honest with you. Right. Merino wool. But keeps you real bloody warm, right? So we're going to look after it. To do that, we're going to attempt to sew. And you might be, I don't know if you've even decided to tune in, like we're already chewed up 8 minutes. Like, oh no, not another therapy session. Maybe. No, I mean, just experimenting here, folks. In a way, it's a little bit of company, isn't it? And you might say, geez, you must be lonely. Oh no. I don't think it's about feeling lonely. Like I'm actually alright with my own company. You see? I wouldn't shy away though from having some company here and there. I think that's what happens when you get a bit older. You're okay with life. And something did come up though I wanted to share with you. So this is a classic scenario right here to bring that into play is, oh, when I get a chance I'll fix up that beanie. And I was thinking, It's got nothing to do when I get a chance. It's either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. It's a priority or it's not a priority. It's interesting the type of language I'm beginning to reiterate and go, what am I doing? So here we are. I'll do that when I get a chance. What do you mean a chance? Neil, what are you talking about?
Thinking about claiming your overseas travel as a tax deduction.
Don't you have the ability to put things into play?
Some strict rules. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Claiming overseas travel as a tax deduction can save you
That's the only thing is this free stuff, isn't it?
In this video, we'll break down.
Thinking about you folks to a degree. Maybe you'd like to have some music in the background, isn't it? Right? When I get a chance, and then so it's a bit like what was it? Scrutinizing myself. Alright, so you know how you said, oh, when you get a chance you'll fix your beanie, and I say yeah. Well, that was a while ago, wasn't it? You say yeah. So just curious. I've noticed you've just been sitting there on your phone looking at things you don't need to be bothered or concerned about buying just yet for the last hour. Yeah. Well, just saying. Don't you think that was a chance to go and fix your beanie? Oh, and then it's or whatever, smartass. Isn't that interesting, right? How defensive we get. When someone just highlights the obvious. Like I'm the one denying myself. True or false? Eh? True or false? So I'm either gonna have a crack at this or I'm not. And it is a little black and white, I think. Some of the, well, it's not that easy. You don't know my situation, and you're right. I don't. But I can say, based on my situations, potentially being very similar, that I just didn't make the things that I knew I needed to get done a priority. That which was of the benefit. Yeah, that's a bizarre thing. That which is of the benefit being neglected over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then in the in-between, it's when confronted with it, it's like, well, yeah, I just haven't had the chance. The chance. Like, what do you mean you haven't had the chance? Like, what is that? Let's just go over here to the good old, right? And let's dive in on that word. Right. Chance. Meaning. So a possibility of something happening, the occurrence of events in the absence of any obvious intention or cause. He met his brother by chance. Okay, so there is a chance of winning the raffle. There is little chance of his finding his, there you go, internet probably intellect no good language. There is little chance of him finding a job, right? What it should say. So possibility. So that's interesting to then say, well, when I have when it's possible for me to do. I'll do it then. And then you go, what do you mean when it's possible? Well, la 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 la. Okay, so why don't you just schedule it then? Schedule in an allotted time to do that task or to follow up on something, or maybe someone, gave you an invite or something. You're like, look, I'm busy, but in all honesty, I'm just unorganized at the moment. But what I will do is I'll lock in Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m, and I'll have a look at what you got. Does that sound fair? Right, beautiful. So I don't think right now, and even that, I don't think I pulled myself up on that the other day. When you think about what I just said, I don't think. Imagine how many times you've said that to yourself. And it usually is followed up with, I don't think that's a good idea, but really it's, I think that is potentially not a good idea. So the don't need not be there. The other night, remember I said I'm not a real fan of the don't. Changing, use avoid. So isn't that interesting when we say, I don't think that's a good idea? Well, if you don't think it's a good idea, what gives you the right to suggest it's not a good idea if you don't think? Because you're not thinking about it. Hey? But now, what we'll do, we'll go to etymology, and let's see where this word actually got its foundations from. Chance. Are you ready? You ready for this, folks? Chance is a word that comes from Old French. I'd say chance, accident, chance, fortune, luck, situation, the falling of the dice. The word is derived from the Latin word cadere, meaning to fall. The term cadentia, the term cadentia, meaning that which falls out, was used in dice and is the origin of the word chance. The word chance is frequently used in plural, chances. So there you go. Falls out. So when I fall out, yeah, there you go. That's really interesting. When I fall out of that which I'm occupied with, then perhaps I will do that. So once again, come back to my theory. Thank you, Internet. Appreciate you. Good on you. That it comes back then to priority. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Instead of saying, really, to be honest with each other and ourselves, it's right. When I make the decision to make that priority, to make that a priority, that is when I will focus on it. How do we get this bloody thread going, people? Oh, what the heck? Might hear me say, what the fruitcake? Or burnt toast. So, there is a solution for things. When I swear, I say, hey. Like, you're right. So, it is really about just making an effort, isn't it? What's the solution? What is the replacement? We're going to get frustrated. But when I see this content and people starting with the F word, and I've done it, I've gone back in my content and...
Hey Meta, play something chill.
This is getting annoying, isn't it? You probably can't hear it, but I can. I just want to listen to music. I don't want to get the copyright. Because there's the potential that there's that type of person out there, isn't there? Oh, come on, mate. Right? But it's not that bit of thread, because I believe that's the bit of thread where it started and then it's wrapped around on the machine. So, where the heckity is the start of the thread? Hey? We want to do some sewing here. And I reckon I'm gonna be pretty good at it, because I did do it in home ec. What was that, grade 8, grade 9? And yeah, in all fairness, I did spend my younger years as a lad growing up with my gran, because dad was a single parent, literally working his behind off. He was just such, I mean, you know, I didn't know until later on that, you know, he'd be a 6-year-old boy getting up in the wee hours of the morning. I mean, like the wee hours, 3 o'clock, helping Grandad on the bread run as a 6-year-old boy. And then he'd go off to school, and he was probably riding to school and walking to school as a young lad on his own, most likely. Get home, do his homework, right, and then bang, back out on the truck to help Grandad, because that was bestowed upon him because he was the eldest. Yeah, hey? You find out some things. So, you know, you find out some things. I'm not sure why I came up with that. These are nice and sharp, or this thread is very basic. Alright, that's why it came up, because I was sharing a little yarn with you that, because my dad was a single parent bringing up 2 kids. Well, that got raised a little bit by my grandparents, my gran and my granddad. And my gran was a very skilled lady, and I remember doing this for her as a boy. And when I think about it, I think she was Just playing it up a little bit. Oh my, here you go. Right, I remember threading needles for it, and I felt a little chuffed. But I can remember sort of hearing the sewing machine going a lot. And anyway, I did really well. In home ec. Obviously, Gran helped. It helped me to cut the plan, and I made a pair of shorts, and we got the material and all that jazz. So I reckon once I get back into this, so the idea is, that's right, I've got to come in from underneath. From underneath. I think that's it. You come in from underneath, pull up, go to the other side, go underneath, and then come up. Bit like I think it's a bit like where your shoelaces are. And then at the end, you just pull that, and that's going to pull that thread and that material together. So we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. It's just fine. I think that the split is this way. Actually, I don't think this is a burn. Is it? No, I think it is. Sort of looks like a rip, doesn't it? You know what it is, but probably from like going in the bush, trekking in the bush, and I've got caught on a branch. So we've got to come in from underneath, and I've got to figure out actually. Never really figure out in this beanie which is actually the outside. I think that's the outside there. That's the inside. Alright. I'm going to go with that. This is the outside. And that's the inside. What do you lovely people reckon? Sort of looks like the inside, doesn't it? The way that is stitched like that. Yeah, I know that white thing. Oh, well, I didn't know. I didn't know until just then. Alright. Alright, we've got to put a knot in this, don't we? That'll help. Alright. That'll help. Remember, be gentle. So that knot will grab. Right. I believe that's enough. And it's this way. I think the stitching does go that across like that. So that being the observation, I will stitch. So my fingers are the direction of the thread, and then I'm going to stitch that way and then pull the thread in. Does that make sense to you? That's my thinking. Okay. See, because it's fruit cake and wool, and I've only got this thread. Even being gentle. feels like it's wool, but right. It's the classic, remember folks? Doing what you can with what you have to lead you towards the outcomes that you seek to obtain and or acquire, or achieve and or acquire. You use any of those three words actually. Okay. And it's a bit bizarre with the colours, but the glasses are meant to help me see a bit better. So when I saw him do this stitch, it was on a rip in a pair of pants. Right. And they did it by hand too, on the little video. So this way, that way, back over. But I do think that this is part of the stitch that I've got to bring the needle in under and then up through to the other side of the hole and under and up, right, to make this stitch work the way it's meant to work. Right. And really, doesn't really matter if you can see the stitch or not. I just wanted to give it a go. Okay. Not sure why I'm whispering. Maybe because I'm focusing. This is really pleasant. And I'm really stoked I'm doing this. Instead of just lying there filling in the time or substituting like this. The language isn't coming to my brain right now. Basically, that's what we're doing, right? When we're scrolling on the phone or just twiddling and fiddling our thumbs, is we're substituting the actions. There we go. We're substituting the actual beneficial actions that we can be putting into play. Well, I go back to that when I get the chance, or when I can get around. Because remember, it's the falling out of the dice. Falling out. So when I fall out, no one wants to fall out. It doesn't make sense, does it? So the truth of it all is, hey, I like the sound of that. So either making a decision to make that a priority, and I'm going to schedule it in, right? Or look, that sounds great. I don't really think that that's going to be a high priority for me right now. But get back to me in a week or a couple of weeks with your idea, and I'll see where I'm at then. See, it's just different. We seem to avoid what we really want to say because we're afraid that the other person, really, let's be honest, let's have honest talk here, but the other person doesn't have the ability to handle our truth. So is it that we don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or perhaps that's really what it is? That it's not that we it's part of it, but that's what I'm getting at. The truth is potentially we could actually be afraid that of the repercussion of another person not having the ability, right? Not having the ability to handle the truth. So therefore, we avoid telling the truth. And that's the truth. I reckon there's a few people going, damn. Oh. How did that happen, hey? Hey, how the heck did that happen? How did that get over to there? You cheeky little monkey. Cheeky little monkey. That's another thing, isn't it, too? So, yeah, I think I said that once. That's probably what, things like that. I think, okay, yeah, I'll share that with you all. So, I'm pretty sure I said that to my son's mum. And, I get it, right? But I was getting really heavy into like words and our language, and cheeky monkey. I'll show you. Cheeky's not actually not a. Cheeky means rude. Like, look it up. Go into. It's actually not a very nice word. Cheeky is not a very nice word. So really, you rude little monkey, you cheeky little monkey. It's like, my boy's not a cheeky monkey. I'm just saying, it's only words, right? And that, that's the part about when we make these decisions to think in a different way. It's going to naturally create separation. It's the same as when you make the decision to stop drinking alcohol, because you just think to yourself, where is the benefit in this? Right? Where is the benefit? And there could be plenty of people, there's heaps of benefits. I hear what you're saying. I do. I acknowledge your argument right now. However, it is very superficial. And it's not slightly, but it's flawed. It's flawed justification. Because there is no benefit. There is no benefit. It is a poison. Right? It is a poison. Because they banned it in the beginning because they didn't like that. They didn't like that normal folk were making money. And then someone just said, hang on. Why don't we find a way to rule operations, and we'll find people, right? But don't ban it, you silly nook. We'll just sell it back to them, and then we'll make it a crime. We'll make it illegal if you distill your own alcohol. So that's just another silly thing. But the laws of men to confine other men, and really, not really laws of men, are they? It's bit like I said to one fellow the other day. It sounds like some of these chaps, probably call them chaps, didn't make the football team, the school football team. So this is their way of having some type of pecking order and to rule the roost. You see? So that's not proper cotton. Proper cotton doesn't do that. But there we go. It didn't turn out the way I really wanted it to. However, I mean, that's where the hole was. Where's me? Where is it? No, there it is. Is it in there? Okay, there it is there. That's the thread. So that's where the hole was. So that's okay. Save it getting bigger for a little bit until I score some wool. Tie a few more knots in there. See? So I think I've put this to you before about what is it that you know that you can do that you keep putting off, and then maybe that's where you pause. And, like I can ask myself, hang on, why do I keep putting that off? Let's say it's something very simple. I need to do the washing. I need clean clothes. Why am I putting it off? Oh, I just couldn't be bothered walking up. Why couldn't you be bothered walking up? Well, you see, have a bit of a dialogue with yourself. Well, you know, it's cold or it's windy, and yeah, but the more you're gonna have to do it anyway, right? So, what's your argument? What's with the reluctancy? If you know you're going to have to do it anyway, why don't we just get it done? And yeah, cool. So that's nighttime craft here in Sydney. Sewing. A little bit of sewing. You'll be beauty. And like I said, I'm rather chuffed. With that. And the good thing about the beanie is, I don't know, I was like, oh, can't find my brush. Boom. What messy hair. Now we just got to work on this, getting the silicone off. Will be good. So, there's a little tidbit in there for you all tonight about, is it really about when you get the chance, or is it just simply it's just not a priority? And that's okay. You've got other things to do. And are you really busy, or you're just not organised? Because I think, for me, that was what it was when I started to really get honest and serious with myself. Like, dude, you're not busy at all. You're under the illusion. Because really, you are not organised. You haven't got your priorities right. You're concerning yourself with things that really aren't your concern right now. And I do that when I'm here on the boat. I'll be looking at that. And I'm like, hey. Does that really concern you right now? It's like, no. But it does need to happen. You're like, yes. But does it need to happen now? Do we need to be using our mental powers? Okay. No. Right. Back to the job at hand. And as I keep iterating and making these little adjustments, I'm finding, like today, we were so close to getting the gantry done, folks. Oh, just so close. I'm literally 10 mil. There's a fruit cake and bracket that's just really throwing a curveball. And on top of that, I found out today that, which happens in boats, it's an old boat, that the cross beams actually aren't square. Right. So can I demonstrate to you? Just use the wonderful of your imagination. You think there's a square roof, and the beam going across isn't exactly perpendicular. It's off skew. Right. So I was using that beam as a reference, where I could have my sleepers vertical up against it. Right. So this is our top view. We're 10 mil out. So I've got to cut a bracket to slide this sleeper back to get us back square. It's a little bit of a pain because it's not going to be square at the top, but you can't see it. Only I can see it. It's only going to bug me. It's not going to bug anyone else. That's a little bit of my dad coming through, because my dad was very precise like that. He just wouldn't accept. He wouldn't even accept 5 mil in difference. He'd go, no. It was very, maybe, I don't even think he would accept 2 mil even. It's like, it's got to be flush. It's got to be flush, son. It's because if you're going to do a job, do it well. Right. But as we're here on the boat, I hear what you're saying, Dad. At the moment, right, I need to get off this berth. I need to do what I can well enough to get off the berth. Then we can do the job well. So it means there's a bit of double handling, but that's just part of the gig here. There's going to be, I'm accepting that there's going to be some double handling, like the paint, and then so I went around the outside of that and siliconed all up there and all on the outside of that and on the outside of that in case of future rains, because when we had that heavy rain come through, it started to seep and leak, and the leaking ore here changed, but it's went over to that there and started seeping it down them boards. So we went and did that silicon out there. But thanks for tuning in. Be good, be great, be brilliant. Be the best you can with what you have to lead you towards the outcomes you seek to achieve, obtain, and or acquire. Appreciate yourself too while you're at it. See yous.